يلا. خلاص.
كان في قطر دي ميلدن كونسل.
دي كنسي أنا مش عايزة. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Hello. Is it working? Hello. Should go. Hello.
الو الو تست test.
Hello. Hello and welcome everyone. We are so happy to have you here with us today. First of all, I know that first I would like to thank my friends. I call them my family who came here today to support me and Natalie at this session. And today we would love to take you through a journey, a regenerative journey, and play the city game. We know that we've been through a lot of sessions, panels, and we are tired. COP is finally here. I know that most of us are working towards COP28 since the beginning of the year, and we need a break after COP. So that's why we wanted to make it as fun, as simple as possible, and try to see how this can impact our lives after COP. So again, welcome, and let's join this journey together. My name is Amira Ayoub. I am the co-founder and CEO of CAUN. It's a regenerative practitioner company. We recently launched this company. I used to work as a consultant for years, and today I am happy to announce that I have a group of amazing people that I'm working with. CAUN main objective is regenerative consultancy and design, and today we will take you through some of our work.
Hello, thank you Amira for introducing the session, and welcome everyone. Good afternoon. We're so happy to have you here, and we hope you're ready to play the city game with us. I'm Natalie Ghawi, the founder and CEO of Nabat Consulting. Amira and I have been partnering on different projects throughout the time, and this is one of our kind of brainchildren of what it could possibly be like to live in a regenerative city. We've been talking a lot about regeneration and regenerative design, but we really haven't experienced it, I think. And to experience something is to really feel it and perceive it and enjoy it and experience it through your senses. And that's what we're going to start off by doing, is really to bring you into the space. We want us to arrive, we want us to be present, because that's what we hope that our cities are going to be able to do for us in this new paradigm shift that we're designing. So at Nabat, that's what we do. We focus on people and planetary well-being through spaces, whether it's an internal space or an external space, given it's a dialogue, a conversation, or a built environment space. And so this is really what we're trying to understand and address and work towards, is this interconnected nature of how we are and how we be. And so how do we start to bring that presence and that understanding and that embodiment into the work that we do, and to translate it into the practices that we have and we carry through the spaces that we move through, and then moving from there into how do we design a more regenerative future. So it really does all start with us, and so that's what we're here to do today, is to activate all of our senses, really get ourselves engaged and involved in what could possibly be a regenerative future. So thank you for being here today, and we really are excited to take you on this journey with us. All right, and to start, we're just going to have you all close your eyes. I know this is different from how you usually start most sessions, but just a disclaimer, this is not most sessions. So we're going to start by really arriving in this space and in this time. I know that there's a lot of prep that came into this. There's a lot of stress that goes in and around COP. And so really what we want to do is come into a feeling of being. And that's what we want to take you through today. So just close your eyes, take a deep breath. Feel what it's like to be here, to be in your body. I know things have been crazy. Maybe your mind's been racing. You've been trying to get around all day. There's a lot of walking. Check in with yourself. Check in with your body. How do you feel? How do your legs feel? Are they touching the earth? What does that feel like? How does it feel like to be sitting after maybe a day of walking? Or you've been sitting all day. How does it feel to continue to be sitting? What does it feel like in your body right now? Are you tired? Are you excited? Are you happy? Are you stressed? Whatever it is that you're feeling, just exhale, let it go, and be present. What does it feel like in this space? Do you feel the AC? Do you hear the sounds in the background? How do you feel right now? Take a second, really check in. Check in with your breath. Is it short? Is it long? Are you able to hear the end of your sentences in your mind, your thoughts? Are they racing too quickly? Take a second, slow them down. Really come into the space. Feel the different parts of your body. Start moving your fingers. Just see what that feels like. You've been using your hands all day, maybe typing, maybe preparing presentations, maybe you've been speaking and holding a microphone. Let go of what you've been holding on to, let go of all the ideas you have about what COP should be, what you should have been doing, what should have been the case, what has happened, what will happen. That doesn't matter right now. You're here, you're in this room, be here and feel into that. Feel into yourself, feel into your body. What does it feel like to be here?
And just try to think about what day is it? Which day of the week? Which day of the week is it? What is the time now? Where are we? It's about the space and time. And think about 100 years from now. Are you going to be here? Should you worry after 5 years about your biggest worries right now, or it will be history? So enjoy the moment, feel the moment, be present. We usually forget about this, so try to feel the present. We are here right now. I think it's time to open your eyes.
Take a deep breath. You have some sticky notes in front of you and some pens. If you want to just maybe write a couple of words, an emoji, a face, some drawing or diagram as to how you feel right now.
This is about you.
So just take a second, really reflect on this experience, your experience at COP, and just feel into how you are right now. Then just once you're done, we're going to put it to the left of the door. So once you have your sticky note of how you're feeling, you don't need to write your name. We just kind of want to capture the energy in the room and see how people are showing up, how people are feeling, and then take you on this journey and see how this goes. So thank you. Once you're done with your word or your phrase or however you're feeling right now, you can stick it on the left side of the door, and then we can start. So I know that you're used to sitting in sessions mostly, but we're going to be playing. So we're going to move around to get used to getting up, sitting down, being mobile in the space. Feel free to be comfortable. If sitting is not your thing, or if you've been standing for too long, you're welcome to sit. Play around with what's available to you in the room. We want to really see how we can change how the existing systems or the existing structures can serve us, and how we can adapt what's available to us to better suit our needs. So feel free to use the space, use the tools that we've been giving you, and really feel into this experience as we go through this journey.
And now I know that we are all surrounded by black walls. Look at the black wall and imagine the black wall is our global climate change problem. Look at the black color. This is global climate change. This is why we are all here. This is why we are all working to solve this problem. And try to imagine the future on this planet by looking at this black wall. And let's reverse the scenario. What if this black wall What if this black wall is a black hole? Do you know the black hole in space? Do you know how it can take you from a place to another? So what if we can imagine the other scenario? What if we can transition to a different place? What if we can solve our problems in a moment? Would that be possible? What is needed? How can this happen? We are here to try to figure out how we can have like different scenarios, how we can shift our discussions to see how we can move faster to solve the problem that we are all facing for future generations and for the future of our planet.
Thank you. So we're going to take you through a bit of a sensory exercise, because this is how we hope that we get to experience ourselves, our cities, and our places, because this is how we input information and this is how we process. And so really acknowledging how we can potentially activate some of our senses through our cities. So I'm just going to start with presenting a video. We want to activate your sight and your sound. So I'm hoping you're able to turn slightly and the video is able to play. Can we play the video? What if our cities could activate our senses? Did you think about that? Make us taste, feel, smell, hear differently? I don't think the video is playing.
It's not playing. So I think the bird can make us feel a little bit connected to nature. We know that we have this video that has lots of sounds and pictures for nature, but let's postpone this until our technical issue is resolved. Now let's move to other sense. You have za'atar, you have crackers. I would like you all to smell the za'atar at first and then taste it. Can we please share? I know that we don't have enough plates because, to be honest, we didn't expect this crowd. So I think let's try all to smell the za'atar and let's try to share the crackers and taste it. This is fresh za'atar. This is freshly grounded. It's from Palestine. A friend of us brought it to us a couple of days ago. And Natalie, actually, it was a coincidence. We were trying to figure out how we can engage the people with the sense of smell and taste. And then we were trying to figure out what will be the best idea. And then Natalie coincidentally brought with her also olive oil from Jordan that was freshly made. So please smell it and taste it. Yeah.
And really take your time with the smelling, with the tasting. Understand what these inputs, these sensory inputs can provide for you and how they can activate your sense of presence and your sense of self. And think about, what if we were walking through a city and you just happened upon some za'atar that was planted, or a different type of crop or plant that you could just grab off a tree or pick off the sidewalk, and really engage your senses and actually be able to consume it as you're walking through your day. Imagine if your city could smell like this or taste like this. What could that feel like? What would that look like?
And do we change our perspective about the places that we are in when we smell or taste something different? Does it connect us to a special memory? Sometimes when we smell something, it reminds us of our childhood, and it makes us feel much more relaxed. So what if our cities and our buildings can make our senses feel different ideas or different thoughts, or can revive different memories inside our hearts? What if our built environment can help us do this and feel this and smell this? How it could look like, or how it should feel like? No chance we can have the video?
Unfortunately, the video is not working.
No problem.
But I think what would be helpful too is, as you've gone through COP, Baby, and Expo, just really reflected on what it's like potentially having. I've seen cats around. I've seen bird houses and food plates for dogs. So imagine what a world that we share with other creatures, with other species. What could that world look like? And I'm sure you've all, I'm hoping at least you've all gone through a walk in nature and really taken the time to be mindful with the sounds, with the different sensory inputs that you're getting from that kind of environment, and then comparing that to the kind of inputs that you get in the city. Just thinking about what it would be like if the same sense of peace and calm and serenity that you get through walking through nature could be the same feeling you get through walking to work every day, or coming home from school, or playing with your kids, or just being outside. What could those spaces look and feel like? How can we start to envision a world that takes that into account, that takes into account other than human species, that takes into account the need for integrated systems? What could that world be like? If that's something that we can imagine and take the time to think about and feel into. We're going to start as well activating your touch. So I know that you can see some Play-Doh on the table. If you can pick a color or two that you like, just starting to feel what touching something could feel like, what touching a Play-Doh could feel like. What is the texture? How is it different from something solid that you maybe have been holding all day? Really what we're trying to kind of capture is the sense of mindfulness, and how mindfulness and being mindful in how we're designing our cities, but also how we're living our cities, could be the game changer that we need in designing more regenerative places. Take the Play-Doh out, it's yours. You can mix colors if you want. We're bringing out the inner children, the ones that we're designing this planet for. This is the future of our planet. So take the time to really think about what this could look like and what this could feel like. Imagine if you could feel these types of different textures as you're walking down the street every day, really engaging your senses.
Hear me well? Oh, okay, now it's working. What if we are walking in our cities, when we walk in the forest, do we feel the same? Do we feel the same when we are walking? Sometimes it's leaves, sometimes it's mud, sometimes. What if our cities can activate our senses? Will that be helpful to all of us? Will that remind us? I know that some of you here in MENA region, we know that we don't usually, and COP is in MENA now, and we don't usually have access to nature in our cities in MENA. We don't have much parks, we don't have forests. So being disconnected from nature is totally not a good idea, or not good for our senses. So what if our cities can make it up to us? What if our cities can engage us and make us feel that, okay, we can still feel different temperature, different materials that we can walk on? So how can our cities can activate our senses? Does it feel good to feel the Play-Doh?
Yeah. So as you're playing with your Play-Doh and thinking about how you are and how you are in your cities, we really want to anchor in this idea as to why you're here today in this session, why you feel like you're here, what is your purpose, what is your why, and what makes you unique. What makes you unique in your field, what makes you unique in what you do, what makes you unique in who you are. Start to think about that as you're playing with the Play-Doh. We've got a few other tools, there's some pens and paper. We really want you to think about what it's like, kind of connecting inwards. What does that journey feel like, look like? What is your inner landscape like? Is it, we've checked in with how you feel. What led you here? How has that been a part of your journey? What has brought you into this space, into this environment, into your different environments, and what have those felt like? So start thinking about you and your journey and what has brought you here today. And if you want to try and capture that with the Play-Doh, you can. If you want to journal through that, you can. If you want to just sit in silence and sort of process, you can. But you have this time right now to take it, to give space to yourself, to check in with yourself and to see what your inner landscape looks like.
So again, what is so special about you? how unique you are. What makes you stand out of the crowd? Just think about it.
While you do that as well, I'm going to engage your sense of sound and play a bit of my Tibetan singing bowl in the background. I hope that as you're going through this journey of reflection, you're able to recognize the role that you play and how the impact that you have can ripple out into the spaces that you occupy and that you move through. How the things that make you unique can help us shape this regenerative future that we're trying to co-create. What could that look like? What could you bring in? How could you collaborate? How can you think about these different ways in which you can utilize or harness what you're bringing, what your story is? How does it become a part of the larger fabric, of a larger story? Think about the tools that you're playing with too. You've chosen select colors maybe, or you had colors of Play-Doh that were given to you. Do those colors signify anything to you? Do they remind you of anything? Do they symbolize anything to you? Do they reflect a part of your personality, a part of your being that you feel is symbolic or representative of what you bring? And how can you use that? How can you show that? How can you harness that?
Well, I think now it's time to all stand up, please. Now it's a more active exercise.
So just first, as you've processed and thought through this thing, just take a second and anchor in your purpose, in your why, in the story that has brought you here today, the story that you've been telling yourself, the story that has brought us all together. And now, I know that a few of you might have come with someone you know, but we're here to collaborate and to learn how to learn from each other. So we would like to invite you to go through this exercise with us. It's called reevaluation counseling, which is really an idea of how to both share and learn from each other in the best way that we can, utilizing both listening and speaking to their fullest capacity. It's an interesting exchange of information, whether it's you're receiving words or you're receiving input from somebody, but also it's a different kind of process when you're sharing. And so I think there's a lot of value in both listening and speaking, and there's the need to create this balance in order for us to be able to collaborate better. So what we're going to do now is find someone that you do not know.
Someone you do not know, okay? Find someone new. And start sharing what you have.
We're going to sit in pairs, and each person is going to have 2 minutes to speak, and the other is going to listen, and we're going to attempt to practice appreciative and compassionate inquiry, where you're listening and really being present and holding space for the person that you're listening to. Because at the end of the day, we're all here to be here for each other and to see each other and to support each other, and this is what's going to take this movement forward. And the only way we can really address the beauty of diversity is if we're giving it space to flourish in front of us and to acknowledge it. So I encourage you to actually take the time to practice. I know things might come up, words people might say are going to be triggering, they might inspire you, they might make you angry, they might make you feel a certain way, and that's okay. But really come back into what you were just discussing with yourself in terms of your purpose and your why, and anchor in that, and see if you can maybe see or hear what the other person is saying with a bit of objectivity, with a bit more compassion, with a bit more empathy, to see how all these different perspectives and all these different pieces come together to create this larger fabric that we want to call a city. So please find someone that you have not spoken to or you do not know, and find anywhere you can move around and sit, and we will be starting the timer shortly. So please, you guys decide amongst yourselves. We were going to give you...
Someone you don't know. One. Find someone you don't know. 1, 2, 3.
Move between the tables. I know that you may have sat with some people you know, but find a different table, find someone from a different table, and communicate with them.
لا يا دكتور.
You can sit wherever you like. If you want to take up some of the chairs at the front, you can.
تفضل دكتور صلاح. Come. He will start sharing what he has, and we can learn from him and bring it back.
If everybody has someone that they are sharing with, we're gonna pause. I know that you have started conversations already, and it's very exciting. And I do hope that you are able to continue those afterwards and during. But we would like to give each person a dedicated amount of time to speak while the other person just listens. So this is more of a facilitated conversation versus your regular dialogue wherein things tend to overlap and my emotions and my thoughts and my feelings kind of come in over what's being said and what's being shared. So if everyone can just pause the dialogue for a second. Okay, all right. If I can just take a second to get everybody's attention, please. Hello? Excuse me? Sorry. All right. Hello, everybody's attention, please. Sorry, I know that you all got to talking, and that was very exciting, and it's really amazing to meet like-minded people, but we're really trying to challenge our usual dialoguing. Yes. Hello. Hi. Attention, please. I know. I'm interrupting some really interesting conversations, and I can feel the energy, and everybody's really excited to share. But this is one of those practices that I would like us to be mindful for, where we're sharing with intent and listening with intent. So each person has a specific amount of time. So you're each going to be speaking for 2 minutes, and one person is speaking, and the other person is listening. And that's the challenge, actually, that we're trying to see how we can overcome the usual way of communicating in which we're trying to kind of overlap conversations and get to our end goal, but really just giving space for what needs to be said or what doesn't need to be said. You can sit in silence for 2 minutes if that's what you would like to do, or you can speak for the full 2 minutes, but that's your time. And it's really to honor who's speaking and who's listening, and that there's value in both speaking and listening. So if we can start now, I would leave it to you to decide who will start first. But if you want me to give you a prompt, we can do that. But I trust that you're able to make those decisions yourself.
The 2 minutes will start
now.
Now.
Go ahead.
Hi, are you here? 40 seconds left.
Okay, you've got about 10 seconds, so find the end of your thoughts, maybe the end of your sentences. I know there's a lot more to share, and we're hoping this is just the start of the conversation. All right, and your time is up. I hope that was an interesting exercise for those of you who are used to speaking and were in the position of listening. I think that might be an interesting challenge. And for those of you who are used to listening, I hope it was an interesting challenge for you to get used to speaking. Now, for those of you who haven't tried one or the other, we're going to switch. You're going to get another 2 minutes for whomever was speaking. You're now going to be practicing listening. And for those of you who are listening, it is your turn to speak or not speak. These are your 2 minutes. You decide what you would like to do with them. And they are starting now. Okay, you've got around 10 seconds left to come to the end of your thoughts or your sentences. I know. All right. And the time is up.
Time's up. We are so happy that you are enjoying your conversation, but time's up. See, we are missing to speak to each other. We are really missing this.
If I can please have everybody's attention, I know that we were really involved and engaged in speaking, especially this candidly, around what we've been talking about in this climate crisis and how you feel and what's bringing you here. I know there's a lot more to share, and I do apologize that we have to cut you off at 2 minutes, but we only have 1 hour. So, but I do hope this really gave you a chance to experience what it's like to first connect internally, to be with yourself, and then to see what it's like to create that sense of presence or to hold that space for somebody else and to have that space be held for you. And what does that even mean, space? We've been discussing spaces, and places, and cities, but really what makes a city? What makes a place? And it's more than just the buildings or the structure, it's more than even just the people, but it's the stories and how we weave together those stories. And so really tapping into your story and how your story relates to or not relates to or connects to somebody else's story, somebody else that you may not have known, may not have met, but somehow you ended up crossing paths. And this is what cities are really meant to bring together this sense of community, this sense of agency, and this sense of inspiration. And so that's what we're hoping that we're able to create, even at this scale, that we're able to then translate onto a systemic and planetary scale. And so just to, yeah.
I was just going to tell them about the circle. We were trying to play with our own circle when we were experiencing our senses. And now when we started to have this conversation with each other, we started to go to the interpersonal space. Now let's explore another circle, another space, which are our cities. Let's look at our cities and let's imagine our cities, how they should look like. What is the relationship? What's our relationship with our cities? Is it only commuting? Do we only use our cars to navigate? Do we go shopping? Do we have like shops in the streets? So do we walk in our cities? What do we love about our cities? Does it have community spaces where it can gather us all to like enjoy life together? So now let's go to the third circle, which is city.
So for that, we're just going to be presenting you with a couple of tools or frameworks or perspectives that you can start to consider as we think about how we relate to and design our cities. So I think the text is very unclear, but we've all been talking about the external pressures, what's been going on with climate action, and what we need to do to our cities and for our cities in order to create that change. But when looking at this iceberg, there's this recognition that that's only the surface. What happens in the external world is only at the surface. And really, what we're looking to do is to build that regenerative mindset that starts with you and how you connect first with yourself, then with your peers in your community, and how that movement and that momentum can then create a ripple effect that will support and enhance the work that we're doing on the external scale. And so one of the methodologies and strategies that was developed as a result of that was the gift-based urban design methodology by a colleague of ours, Naho Iguchi, who was unable to make it today, unfortunately. But the idea behind the gift-based urban design methodology is really to give space, and to give space to yourself in the realms of being human, whether that's within your body, your mind, or even your spirit and soul, and understanding your needs across those realms, and then seeing how those connect with first the human habitable zone, which is our cities and the spaces that we occupy and have these kinds of conversations, but also with the non-human habitable zone. The recognition that we share this world with non-human species that play a large role in keeping the world alive and safe. And I think this is really important to acknowledge in how we're designing and how we're thinking about ourselves within our cities, within our spaces, and within the planet. And so it's really looking at the connection between our physical, mental, and emotional spaces and how they relate to the world around us, and the recognition that the world around us is a reflection of us. So the work starts with us and how we build our inner spaces and our inner landscapes, and how that translates onto the external landscape and the effects of the external world on our being. And I think we all have been experiencing the consequences and results of some of our actions and how that has been affecting us and our health. And so really looking at regenerative building and regenerative practices as a process, but it's also an evolutionary process, and really it takes us from this journey of becoming aware, becoming present, and then engaging with the senses, engaging with our spaces, engaging with our peers, but also then letting go. Letting go of what we think we know, what we've been going through, this reality that we've created for ourselves and the systems that we've designed for ourselves. They've worked so far, but they're not leading us down the path that we want to take. So for us to really move forward and to create regenerative change, we first have to let go of all these stories that we've been saying, all of these memories that we've created that are this core of the identity that we've developed. We need to reshift and rename and reshape from the core of who we are in order to be able to create this change at a systemic scale. And so really we're aiming to go through this journey across these scales, but also recognizing that it happens simultaneously, that the shift happens internally on a personal scale and then reflects out through that personal and interpersonal scale, and then it reflects out into the planetary scale and vice versa. We move in and out and we zoom in and out.
So again, I need to reflect on what Natalie said. I would like to go back to the first time I met Natalie. We met at one of the conferences of the International Living Future Institute, and I'm so happy that the CEO of the International Living Future Institute, Lindsay, is here with us today. It's such an honor to have you here with us. Thank you. So we met, and we were working on a round table, and we were discussing how we can integrate biophilic design in a certain project. And to be honest, that was 2018. It was a journey. We felt that, okay, we know the path to build better, but our life, our opportunities, the project we are working on, we can't implement everything we know. And that's why we call it practicing regenerative design. It's scary. That's why not everyone is doing it. It's scary. It's not like a cookie cutter. It's not like a path, because connecting with yourself and our peers, our colleagues at work is not our typical way of working. We need to have schedules, we need to have deadlines. So if I came today and I tell you that this is not the way I feel, so the word feeling will not make sense in this conversation. It's not about feeling. I have a deadline. I have to deliver the project. And sometimes that takes us to where we don't want to go. So again, practicing regenerative design in our cities and at our built environment is crucial, because we are always running and we are always not having the right time. So right now we are happy that we started this journey trying to practice. We are learning, and I know some of you, and we've been through a lot of projects, and we have seen how things are not working because people cannot work together. They just can't work together. They just can't understand each other. They don't have active listening. So how can we change ourselves, and how can we change our relationship with the people around us so we can change our built environment and our relationship with our planet? So it's a journey, and as Natalie said, we have a lot of tools. One of it is the biophilic design, which is sometimes, because we like to see things in boxes, to tick the boxes, we have Stephen Killert biophilic design elements, which are some elements that can take you through this. And when we started to implement the biophilic design elements at some of our projects, that was amazing. We started to learn more about the environment. We started to learn more about ourselves. We started to learn from the local communities, and that was so different. So what if our buildings and our cities, what if we go through a series of questions and steps that can connect us to people, climate, culture, and place? What if our buildings are different? It's in different place, it's in different culture. It shouldn't look like the same. And again, it's a scary process. But what is making it easier now that we have some of the tools, and we are practicing these tools, and we are trying to develop it. And when we start working with these tools with our clients, I think we have to, at the beginning at least, we have to find the right client and the right people to work with, so we can start having something in hand to show and to make it as a case study and to teach it to others. And from there we can replicate and scale up. So today mainly is a call to action for all of us. We would like you all to start this journey and to understand more about practicing regeneration. It's so different, it's so unique. When I started to learn it, I thought that I'm going to learn a technique. I'm an architect. I thought that I'm going to learn a technique to design the building, and I realized that I need to change. It's about me. If I change it, we have solutions for global climate change, but people don't want to do it because they have issues. So if you want to implement the solutions, the global climate change issue will no longer be here. But why we are not solving it? It's because we need to change first so we can regenerate our built environment. So again, I would like to invite you all to look at the biophilic design elements by Stephen Killert, how we can engage different features in our built environment, how the built environment can activate our senses and make us feel better and make us feel connected to the outside world. How can it regenerate us from inside to our relationship of the people around us and to our cities and buildings?
So yes, just thinking about nature, and when we first started this, we asked you to maybe imagine, since the video isn't working, what it was like being in nature, having maybe taken a walk through a forest or a park, or just listening to the sounds of water. What is that sense that those elements of nature make you feel? How can we bring that back into the spaces that we occupy, in the spaces that we work, live, and play? How can we really think about the ways in which we connect to the larger ecosystem and not just design a building that looks a bit or mimics nature, but how can we really understand the systems under which nature is operating and really attune ourselves and attune our designs to what's happening, what's available around us? That there is a wealth of knowledge and information that nature can teach us, and that's really the inspiration behind biophilic design, is how do we start to activate that primal part of our being that really does connect to nature and is enhanced by it and healed by it? And how can, by doing that, are we able to heal both ourselves and our cities? And so this is where we actually invite you to think about what we had discussed earlier in terms of the black wall that we are now re-envisioning as a black hole, to transport us to a new world, one that we co-create together, one that takes into account all the different diversity, the diverse people, the diverse species, the diverse needs, the diverse climates, the diverse landscapes, and really how do we integrate some of those practices and come to this understanding in a way that's more embodied, in a way where we recognize that we each have a role to play, and that role is equally as significant as the role of our peers, but it's important that it's different. It's important that it's unique to us, and it's important that that uniqueness actually brings and elevates the level of how we're operating and how we're moving and how we're elevating and how we're designing, and really thinking about that value that can be created or co-created about our regeneration and how we can start to think about regeneration, not just as a built environment or a building, but in a holistic manner, in a way that it links to who we are and how we can relate to our environments and spaces. So we're all going to actually stand up again. Yes, this is a moving session. And so as you've thought about and gone through the journey of experiencing your senses, maybe thinking about how we can connect better, communicate better, we're going to play a little bit of a game. And this is going to be a short exercise. Ideally, we would like to have you in a big circle, around the circles, if that's okay. If not, that's fine. Yes, it's over here. And we're going to, if you can try and make like a big circle in and around here with each other. And we're each going to start to imagine together, take a second before we start this exercise, and really think about the journey that we went through at the start, the way that the different tools activated your senses, the way that you felt each time that a different sense was activated. Did it make you feel excited or happy or empowered or able to do and make change? So really think about what that could look like if we scaled it up, if we had cities in which we can move through and breathe through and smell through and taste through and see through and hear through and be through and feel through. And I think that's something that we can really build together and take the time to give space for that and to give space for ourselves in the conversation. And so this is what we are inviting you to do here. We're going to have this yarn, and each person is going to share their version of what this regenerative world could look like, or what would you require, what would you like to have in the city of the future, or the regenerative city of the future.
So who would like to start?
And please, once you've gotten the yarn, just keep holding it, because we would like to build the web of our interconnectedness.
I guess many of us just became little children as we were enjoying what we did. And it happens to be that as we grow up, we lose a lot of what we need to enjoy our environment with, the senses, which children really use and need. That's why they keep on using it, because they need it in a way. But when we grow up, we feel we no longer need these senses because we know how to navigate around our cities. So a way forward for regenerative building capacity, I assume, is maybe involving children, actually. having a co-design process where, because of their excitement, they're going to tell us what things or elements we're missing, and then we start to look at things from their point of view.
Does anyone else have some thoughts? Nobody has some thoughts on what they would like to see in their cities in the future? No? Yeah? All right.
So I think for cities we born into, and we get used to seeing that same normalized problem. So I think having the chance to go to new places to learn more about the success and the failures of other cities would also build that resiliency.
Thank you. Anybody else have some thoughts or just what you would like to see in your city? Yeah.
I would like to see more water in streams and just blue infrastructure, because I quite like the sound of running water, so that's for me.
That sounds so relaxing.
Yes. Just can you count?
Hi everyone. I'd like to see a lot more foodscaping. So I'd like to see a lot more focus on food producing plants versus decorative plants, whether on the streets or even in our homes and on our rooftops. Yeah.
Anybody else have any thoughts? Yes. All right. We'll come to you. I will try and make it around to you.
Yeah, so as we had our eyes closed, I really thought about how important just taking time to pause is, and nature has like this incredible healing capability and allowing you to like relax, and I'd like our cities to be greener and maybe have spaces where we can enable that.
Thank you. Anybody else have some thoughts?
Okay. Okay. As for me, I come from a least developed country, so I would like to see my city beautiful like Dubai here, with good infrastructure, everything. I want to see in the future all good roads and more opportunity for young girls and women. Yeah.
So inspiring. Okay. Coming. Oh, now I won't think it's my ring.
You got your ring. Got it?
I was just thinking about the sounds of being, for me anyway, outside of the city, and how I would love to hear that diversity of creatures and plants, all of these things that you can get when you're outside of a city. But what if, when you go to bed at night and you're in a city, you could actually hear those sounds of more than just the pigeons, but all the other animals out there.
you want to throw it to him? Throw it to him. Throw it to him.
I would like to see cities have more playgrounds that connect with nature, provide places for both children and adults to play, and provide playgrounds for people with disabilities.
Can you catch? I don't think I will.
No.
I'm coming.
Hi everyone. So I am imagining my city example, Bangalore. I'm from Bangalore, India. So to be the more of inclusive city, that irrespective of anyone coming to the city are being valued, not by their caste, gender, or anything else, but as an human being. So I want that to be. I want to see the city as.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Okay, so as long as the children are the next generation, so I would like to see a city for children only. They designed it, they built it, and they provide their dreams in it.
Thank you. Yes. All right. How low can you go?
I would like to see the city has a lot of creativity. Is that it's able to enable that sense of creativity, innovation, and thinking out of the box. And sometimes could be a little bit more crazy and playful as well. Yeah.
First of all, I would like to thank you for holding the web. This is the most beautiful web we've ever made. We've done exercises like this before, and it never looked so beautiful as is. So thank you for holding the web. So let's imagine this is our society. This is our relationship with each other. This is how our cities, these are the conversation between each other. These are our meetings. This is the feedback we get from each other. Ideas that inspires another one. So I think if we imagined our cities can create this space for all of us to listen to each other and to work with each other and to regenerate our relationship with ourselves, each other, and our built environment, I'm 100% sure that our cities will look so different than the cities we are living in now. So I think, thank you everyone. It was such a great pleasure having you here with us today. Thank you for sharing your insightful ideas and everything. So again, we wish you enjoy the rest of your day, and thank you.
All right. Thank you so much. Yes, we'll take all of the stuff. It's okay. We'll just bring it all to the center, and we'll gather that from you. Thank you so much.